This is the Manchester Football Social. Full-time Devils takeover.
We are back on the radio on XS Manchester. This is Full-Time Devils, the FTD fan phone in. Today in the studio, we have got Joe and, of course, Gaz alongside myself, Adam McCullough, and we're going to be having your phone calls throughout the show. This week, Manchester United have beaten Young Boys. David De Gea's contract has been triggered and that extension has been added for at least another year, plus so much more. Joe, how can the people at home get on the show?
It's very simple. You give us a call right now because I expect it to be a busy one. 0345 111 7625. Get your calls in nice and early. We'll try and get through as many as we can. And if you're watching on YouTube, the number will be along your screen all the time, so you can make sure you always get in touch with us.
That number, 0345 111 7625.
Yes!
He's done well.
He's done well.
Make sure you get involved with the YouTube comments as well. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm all over that.
Yes, be nice to Gaz.
Be nice, please.
Gaz doesn't actually do anything. He just sits on the laptop.
Honestly. I don't even listen to these half the time.
He's the only... Well, he's more of a professional than me on radio, but he just sits there, be quiet. Just please do that.
Cheers,
we do things different on Full-Time Devils fan phone. And make sure you're getting your calls in as well on that number that we said earlier. Manchester United beat Young Boys this week, but of course, before we go to that, we want to talk about the breaking news. David De Gea contract till 2020 at least. It seems Simon Stone reporting that it seemingly is a stopgap procedure while we get those negotiations sorted. But how are you guys feeling about that? Has it made you a little bit more relaxed over the De Gea situation, or has it not changed the landscape for you?
It's weird. I see it as they've obviously done this to trigger the extension, but the love affair with David De Gea has come to a point now where I don't know if I know what he's done for the club is unbelievable. But are we not proud enough to maybe, if he wanted to move away, I wouldn't feel bad. I wouldn't feel like he'd be a player that I'd boo on his return. I would feel that he's done his duty for Manchester United, and wherever he goes then, I would be happy just to let him go. We've triggered the extension, but he's such a good player. Can he play Jose Mourinho's style of football for the next couple of seasons? And we watch such an iconic goalkeeper just not win anything for a couple of years, when he could be at someone who actually plays attacking football, a club that will actually treat him as, you know, a trophy winner that he should be. For me, I just see, unless we have got plans in the works to change Manchester United at the beginning, David De Gea has done his dues for the club. But I'm happy that he's staying. Don't get me wrong.
I don't want to compare Man United to a prison too much, but it does feel like he's done his time now, hasn't he? He's done his time. It's about time to let him free, isn't it, David De Gea? I honestly cannot figure out, and this is so weird for me to say as a Man United fan, as someone who always looks at situations like these with very red-tinted glasses on, and it's hard for me to imagine myself as someone who isn't a United fan, but I cannot figure out why David De Gea is still here.
It's crazy.
I don't know why he wants to stay. I don't know what it is about Man United at the moment that the best goalkeeper in the world is thinking, this is the right place for me to be at. We're not challenging for all the top trophies at the minute. He's not getting paid more by us than he would do elsewhere, necessarily.
I don't know, because what you got to look at is he's a goalkeeper. So how much are other clubs willing to pay a goalkeeper? Like, you don't really, like, PSG, for example, willing to pay him as much as Neymar. Because they would probably have to upset a Neymar, Mbappe, Cavani to fit him in. But Juventus, they've got Cristiano Ronaldo there, they've got Dybala, they've got all these. Would they have to upset those players to fit? Whereas Manchester United, we make him our highest paid player. No one can say anything because he deserves it. And what I would think as well, I've been... like, as you know, I have a negative outlook on how Manchester United are at the moment. But if David De Gea was to stay, that then could possibly become a marker where Manchester United as a club, regardless of who the manager is, says, David De Gea is staying. Now, if you want to be successful, we've got the best goalkeeper in the world staying, and it kind of becomes a marker, either stay or get out.
Yeah, it becomes a catalyst.
Whether you're good or not, just stay or come out. So I think it could be a great sign as well. We could potentially have other players looking to leave and maybe say, De Gea's staying. Maybe we can build something here. So I think, whilst I understand what you guys are saying, and I totally agree, if I was De Gea and I wasn't a Manchester United fan and I was Spanish and I was a Atletico Madrid fan, and I would want to leave. Because I used to look at Van Nistelrooy and think, poor fella. He played for United for 5 years, Real Madrid for 5 years. He won one league title in that time. so incredibly unlucky. He's especially the amount of goals he scored. David De Gea's been here for nearly 10 years and won one title.
Footballers' careers are so short as well. Just so short. So it's like you'd think he wants to go somewhere and win everything while he can.
Do you think we've got no calls lined up?
Yeah,
at the minute,
I do
so
think
can you get your
problem.
calls in?
Is it people saying there is a problem?
There are a couple of comments saying that
there is a problem. So if the producer Jim is outside and listening to the station, we are getting comments in that there is a problem with the system. Sorry about that. We'll make sure we restart it and get it going as quick as we can. I just tried to call it then, and it did say call failed. So we will get onto that soon as we can. Jim, hopefully, will get that sorted. So I guess it's us speak for the.
We can still go to comments from YouTube. Exactly. We can still get opinions from the people.
Yeah, there's a few comments coming in about David De Gea. Obviously, everyone's saying his extension is good news, but this is just a year extension and doesn't necessarily keep him at the club beyond next summer. It just means that he can't be negotiating with anyone in January. That's why he supposedly signed it. But there is still a massive possibility that David De Gea could be subject to loads of bids in the summer, which is something I'm really nervous about. I mean, me and Adam, we've chatted about it, and Adam said who would actually him.
I don't mean before. You know how I mean that.
How do you mean that?
I don't mean that in a way that he's not great. No one's going to.
No.
I mean that in a sense that who could because Real Madrid have just signed a brand new goalkeeper in Thibaut Courtois. I think his relationship with the Spanish media, the Spanish fans, and everything like that. I think that kind of rules out Barcelona for him. So then you've got PSG and Juventus, and again, I'll say it are they going to be coming anytime soon for him? They've got PSG got Buffon. For how long is he going to be?
Yeah, how long will Buffon be around for?
And can Juventus attract him? I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe.
How could they not?
I'd rather win the league in Italy than finish fourth in England. But
fourth.
David De Gea, fourth is hopeful. But David De Gea is maybe someone that has grown to love. Do you think he just loves United now?
He might just.
Has he become like a Shearer type figure?
And just going to settle at the club and break all records.
He's told him, Dan, you're buying a house in Salford. Just deal with it.
I don't care if it looks like a fridge. You live in it.
She's moved to England now.
Yeah.
Maybe
it wasn't as bad as she thought it was going to be. It's not too bad, is it?
It's love.
Do you reckon
we love it. It's the best city in the world. We love Manchester. But
maybe they are settled.
You do sometimes think that maybe you only think that because you're actually from here, but it's not the case. David De Gea loves it here as well, and maybe that is why he wants to stay at Manchester United, because of this brilliant city of Manchester. Maybe that's what it's done.
It's crazy that we're thinking of everything but the footballers for reasons why David De Gea. It can't be Manchester United. We're only one of the best clubs in the world.
He just likes night out in 42s, that's all it is.
If Gaz gets any more plugs in for 42s,
he absolutely loves it.
It's like you and your chicken wings.
Sure, right. Let's move on. So, obviously, we saw David De Gea do an absolute worldie against Young Boys. That we were quite far away, but watching it over and over and over again. Do you think it's up there with one of his best saves?
Oh, it was top. To save the ball from behind him, it was halfway across the line. What a save it was. And you know what? After the game, we were chatting to fans after, obviously, on the YouTube channel, Full-Time Devils. And after it, I said that it really seemed like United showed a real lack of quality, and there was no quality there to actually win us the game. We just won at the end for a scuffy goal from Fellaini. But actually, it was one piece of pure genius, pure quality from the best goalkeeper in the world that was the difference in getting us the win on Tuesday.
I didn't watch the match. I was at Laurent Hill concert.
What's your initial thoughts then when you saw United 1-0 Fellaini?
It's so weird that I haven't watched the match. It's been so long. But it's mad to me. I did make sure I saw that, and that save. It reminded me of, remember when Seaman did one in an FA Cup semi-final at Old Trafford against Sheffield United for Arsenal. Very similar save. It almost looked like it had gone over the line.
Yeah, it was done.
Roy Carroll against Pedro Mendes style. That's what it kind of looked like, and he pulled it back in, and what a save. Those kind of things from him don't surprise me anymore.
No.
They don't surprise me anymore because he's simply the best goalkeeper in the world. Simply, I know he's had a difficult World Cup and he's had a difficult start, but I think that difficult World Cup is maybe one of the things that's played into our hands here, and it's made him think, they're not going to love me like they love me here. They're not going to love me like they love me here. And I know Cristiano Ronaldo, he had all the trophies and stuff, but he felt that as well. He didn't feel the love. And I think United fans, we have taken to De Gea. I think he's the one player that you look at and you think, he's kept his head down. He's kept working regardless. Like, if I was De Gea, as soon as David Moyes come out, shit, I'm gone. Van Gaal come. He didn't go. I know the fax machine played its part in that, but he's consistently played to a top level. And when you mentioned the style of football, does a goalkeeper really care about the style of football?
I think he cares about the style of football. Yeah, that's the difference if he's winning and if he's got a decent front line in front of him. When he started as a young man at Old Trafford, did he really think that in 7 years' time he will be having Smalling and Jones in front of him?
He'd be having the same two wingers.
And he's got Valencia on the wing. Do you know what I mean? Like they're your people. Your defence are yours. When Van der Sar had Vidic and Ferdinand, they were his defenders. They knew that every single one of them were pulling their weight. He has not had a consistent back two. And that's what goalkeepers must crave, surely. Interesting comment here from JK30. I remember this quite well. He says, do you remember a lot of so-called United fans, I think it was more than just United fans, mate, said that David De Gea wasn't good enough when he joined. He said that he couldn't handle crosses. I remember this. What were your thoughts on this?
Can I just say, this is one of the very few things that I've ever got. Like, I get things so wrong so many times. Like, Johnny Evans, I said he should have been captain when Rooney got the captaincy. I was singing we'll win the Football League again this time with David Moyes. And I was doing all of that, yeah. But this is one thing I got right. I think when we lost Van der Sar, because I used to watch Atletico Madrid a lot, I liked Torres, I liked Aguero, I hate to say that now, when they were coming through. And David De Gea was someone that I really liked and I wanted him as our next goalkeeper. And when I saw him failing, I was worried, because I really wanted him to succeed and to see him become that goalkeeper that Sir Alex Ferguson said he would become is amazing. And that's why I think you've got to treat these kids with a little bit of a difference, and I don't think we have that at the moment.
Okay, then.
Go on, Nick. I just need to say something quick about the calls, and hopefully Chris can help us out here.
Go on, Joe.
So, we are having problems with people calling us, but we can call them.
We're going to give Joe's number out on the air.
If you can simply text 87711 with your number, simply with your name, because obviously we'll have your number, 87711, then our producer will call you back and get you on air. We can't take calls for some reason. We apologise. We might get it sorted by the next time, but we can.
You pay the bill.
Yeah, we'll pay the bill. Obviously, we'll call you, so the bill's on us. Think of it like that. We'll call 87711. Yeah, make sure you get your texts in now, and we'll try.
We're not going to need to start GoFundMe on air.
Apologies if you've been trying to call, but we'll call you. So text us now. Sorry.
So the point that Adam was making, then he was saying that's what we need to be a bit more like with youngsters at the club. You know, putting our arm around them a little bit more, helping them through. Period. The other night, of course, we saw a prime example of a youngster who maybe didn't have a great game, although I think slightly better than some people let on. Marcus Rashford getting in the positions, missing the chances. We saw Jose react interestingly on one occasion where he turned to the crowd and he almost put his arms out. And I think that some people have got different impressions on what he did. For me personally watching it, there's loads of reasons to criticise Jose, and he's said loads of out of order things in press conferences about his players. That example, I don't think there's a lot to look at really. It's just Jose.
Right, so here's the only thing I see before that is I see a man's frustration because if he doesn't win this game, everyone will be just hammering him. Yeah. Okay, so his striker doesn't score. I can see the frustration. He shouldn't have taken it too far, but I can see his frustration coming out of it. But he should be professional.
He shouldn't have done that. Listen, react. I understand you're under pressure.
Yeah.
Throw the bottles where you want. Moan if someone misses a chance. React. Like, I understand. Throwing your arms up or head in hands up. Understand every single reaction like that. I understand natural reactions. To me, that was not a natural reaction. That is something that I do sitting in the stands, turning to my brother, saying, there's Chris Smalling being useless again. There's Marouane Fellaini, what have I told you about him? That was what that looked like to me. That looked like a turn into the bench, turn into the whoever, the directors that are behind the bench, whoever, and saying, this is what I have to put up with. That's how it looked to me. Now, I don't care if you're going to, whatever. I don't think Rashford will really care about that.
Hopefully
But to me, if that's what you're doing pitch side, what happens behind closed doors? What happens in the dressing room? What is your message to these players? Now, producer Chris was trying to wind me up earlier.
And it didn't work.
Successfully.
Can we just say that he's been going on about this for about 6 hours?
No. I've only been going on about it. I'm not that bothered by it. Like, I've not even tweeted about it. That's how you know I'm not bothered about it. But he shouldn't have done it.
Producer Chris basically was comparing Sir Alex Ferguson shouting at Cristiano Ronaldo from the touchline.
In 2009.
In 2009, he was comparing that to what happened with
when
Mourinho
Ronaldo
and
was the
Rashford.
best player in the world, and when Sir Alex Ferguson had a better relationship with his players, and he looked at Ronaldo, and the reaction was directly to Ronaldo. This reaction wasn't to Rashford. It wasn't a, come on, Rashford, I know you're better than this. It wasn't that. It was a, you seen what I'm having to put up with here.
I don't know, man. I feel like you're looking into it a bit too much.
Right, let's go to one caller before we have to go to a break, if that's all right. And we'll obviously talk about this after the break.
I'm phoning in next, is that?
We've got Adam on line. How are you doing, Adam? You all right, mate?
Fuming about this, Jose.
The agenda. How are we doing, mate?
I'm all right. How are you guys?
Yeah, very good. What do you want to say?
Oh, I'm just saying, I'm a bit worried that we've extended De Gea's contract because we're going to sell him in the summer, and this stops him walking out on a free in the summer.
It could be a good point. And what? So a year extension on David De Gea's contract. So what price tag do you then put on David De Gea?
Oh, he's got to be, I don't know, because he's only got a year left still. But I think he's best goalkeeper in the world, so I'd say about 70, 80 million.
That's cheap, Dad.
Yeah, but what he's saying is with a year left, how much you put on David De Gea's head?
I totally hear what he's saying, by the way, about the contract.
Yeah.
And I worry that as well. But I think the club have done it so they can, I think the negotiations have taken a while, so they thought, let's get this done, so it takes the pressure off the negotiations a little bit.
But would you be happy to see, obviously, David De Gea staying and getting a longer contract, Adam?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think he's one of the most important players at the club. I think we could almost lose anybody else but him and still be all right next season.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think that, you know what, if David De Gea was to go, he's the best goalkeeper in the world. I want him to stay absolutely no matter what. But if David De Gea were to go and we were a football club that actually got appropriate fees for players and a football club that actually invested the money that we earned from players back into the team, then it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, because you'd have 125 million to actually spend at the rest of the team, but we wouldn't do that, would we?
Remember when we sold Ronaldo, Gaz? We reinvested all of that in Valencia, Obertan and Owen.
Listen, right, we're going to take a quick break.
No value in the market.
87711. Please go put that back in the comment section. 87711. You text us, we'll call you back because we're having a bit of a problem. So make sure you just text us now, 87711, and we'll give you a call back and get you on the show. Question of the little break. Make sure you get in the comment section. Who has scored more goals for Manchester United? Is it Fellaini or Pogba?
Time Devils back on XS Manchester. This is the FTD fan phone-in. I am Adam McCullough, today joined by Radio Gaz and, of course, my hostess with the mostest, Joe McGrath. And he has got the answer to the quiz question.
Yeah, the question was, who scored more goals? Was it Fellaini or Paul Pogba? What are you going for, Gaz?
It's got to be Anna. It's
what
Fellaini,
are you going for?
It's Marouane Fellaini. It's
yes,
obvious.
it was 21 to Pogba's 20 goals.
But that's closer than I expected.
I was going to say.
I'm currently reading the calls that come in. Listen, we're having a bit of problems. If you want to get involved, you text us 87711. Then we call you and get you on the phone. And we've got some tasty callers on the way.
I swear it's just easier to give you a number out, Joe. I think we should just do that. We have got calls lined up. They're coming through very soon. What's the number, Joe?
0345 111. Oh no, you can't. 87711. Text us your name and we'll call you.
We're just all over the place in autopilot, but nevertheless, United have beaten Young Boys this week. We are through to the last 16 in the Champions League. David De Gea's contract clause has been triggered and he's staying till at least 2020. And we've got Andy on the phone line on the FTD fan phone-in, and he wants to have his say.
Hello, mate.
How you doing, boys?
Yeah, very well, very well. What do you want to say, Andy?
First off, Mourinho out, end of. Got to happen. It's another example of the way it's gone the last couple of years. All the decisions being made at the club is all about the commercial side. And that, for me, is why Mourinho was brought in. Let's be honest.
Wait. What's to do with Jose Mourinho?
Well, that's why they signed him. Are you telling me Jose Mourinho is a Man United manager? He isn't.
And I'm not saying I disagree with what you said, but the commercial side, how's that anything to do with Jose?
Because he's a big name. He's a big name, isn't he, worldwide? Everybody in football knows who Jose Mourinho is. It enhances United's commercial side of things. The same as when they've signed other players like Sanchez, even Pogba. I mean, all right, I looked at Pogba at Juve and thought, yeah, he is a decent player. But look at the way when we signed him, what happened with all his emojis on the billboards and all that sort of stuff. It's all about the commercial side. And the thing is, you can look at that and the Glazers are going to be happy with that because off the field, United have gone even bigger than they were. So it's working, but on the field it's diabolical, and it can't sustain that. The longer it goes, playing like we are and being where we are, it's going to affect the commercial side. And I think that the big wigs at the club don't get that. It's about winning trophies. It's about winning football matches. That's where we got our fan base from.
It's kind of like
we can't rely on being the big club we are and not be winning like we are doing.
It's kind of like the club has no direction at the moment, Andy. We've got, obviously, you're looking at the board and they're not making decisions for footballing reasons. Jose Mourinho, obviously, whatever you think about him, is not doing well at the moment. So do you think the board should pull the trigger? If they did, what should happen next? Do you think what's going on above the manager is suitable for success?
They should pull the trigger on him and then pull the trigger on themselves because they're not making any good decisions.
This is it.
And you're right about it having no direction, and that's mirrored on the pitch because you look at. Can anyone honestly say they know how United play? Do they know how United sets up and how they're going to attack? It looks like it's all just thrown together. They go on the pitch and they make it up. And that's why it's slow and laboured, because when the players get on the ball, it looks like they're trying to decide there and then, what do we do next?
Do you know what really worries me, Andy? You've been speaking about the problems and how the club is very commercial focused at the minute, and I completely agree with you. And the reason that reason massively worries me is because it feels like something that we can't actually fix necessarily. We bring in another manager, and they're going to be the same. They're not going to be allowed to sign the players that they want to. They're only going to be allowed to sign players who are going to sell shirts all around the world. They're not necessarily going to be allowed to sign players who are going to improve the team. So what would you do?
Do we agree that the players that we've got in that squad are good enough to be challenging?
So what happens next then?
I agree. I think that. I don't think the defence is great, but I think
we agree that them players are good enough to be challenging, right? But Mourinho cannot get the best out of them players. So I tell you what I'd do. I'd get shut, and this won't be. I know a lot of United fans are not going to agree with this, but you need somebody in there who's going to put the fear of God in them players. The likes of Pogba, stop messing about on Instagram and all that and do it on the pitch. So you know what I'd do? I'd get rid of Mourinho and I'd bring Roy Keane into the end of the season.
Roy Keane to the end of the season.
Give it Keano to the end of the season.
Andy, thank you very much for your call. If you agree, 87701, drop us a text and we'll get you on.
Ollie's been on hold for a while as well.
Sorry. Make sure you get your comments in about Keane to the end of the season.
Ollie wants to talk about another United legend.
Hello, Ollie.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Ollie.
It's all right, lads. So what I'm about to say might sound a bit crazy, but I was watching the Ryan Giggs documentary last night, and I was noticed that he signed as Wales manager in January 2018, and Manchester United Mourinho signed his contract extension the same month, 10 days later, until 2020. Now, I don't know if this is just me being crazy, but the big thing that happens in the summer of 2020, when Mourinho's contract ends, is the Euros. So I was just thinking, the way Giggs is playing his Welsh team at the moment, it's not as reliant on Bale and Van Dijk, it's more attacking, it's about use. Do you reckon that there's any hope that United are looking at Wales' performance at the Euros to potentially look at Giggs? Because that's the only reason it makes sense to have given Mourinho another contract. And with De Gea, if they told De Gea that's their plan, maybe that's why he's considering signing a new contract. I don't know. I might be crazy, and I get that. But the way he played when he was our caretaker manager was attacking, was imaginative. It was a bit scrappy because he wasn't experienced, but the fact that it all matches up so perfectly, I don't know. I just find it a bit weird.
It is a mad coincidence.
It's a mad coincidence, but it's also, if they're thinking of bringing Giggs in, then I imagine they're not going to judge him just on that competition on its own, the Euros. They're going to judge him on qualifying and everything that comes before that. And recent form for Wales, they've not really been great. They lost to Albania.
Yeah.
They lost to Denmark. They lost to Ireland. Spain, obviously, you can forgive them for, but you know, they've not necessarily looked great. So what have we seen from Giggs so far to suggest that he's really of the standing of a Man United manager?
Well, that's a really good comment, and I knew you'd say that. And my counter to that is the way that when Chris Coleman was the Welsh manager, his team was based around Aaron Ramsey and Gareth Bale, basically doing what they wanted. And the way Giggs has set up, it's going to take some time for Wales to get used to, because it's not so heavily reliant on those two players. Okay. It's more of a useful system. And when he was United manager for the few games he was in 2014, we lost against Southampton, if I remember, 1-0. But when we beat Norwich 4-0, we beat some other teams quite convincingly as well. And it's a style of play I thought the players would respect that more as what he got at the moment with Mourinho. And the fact he signed till 2020 was just, I mean, when he signed, everyone was like, I don't understand why. And it was just a coincidence.
Ollie, thank you very much for your call, mate. It is a good point. Any comments in there?
It could be 2 + 2 equals 4, or it might be 5. You don't know. It could fit in, but I don't think Jose makes it there.
No, I don't. He definitely doesn't make it here till then, but maybe after that, possibly. And you know what? Like, I used to sort of laugh at the suggestion of bringing in someone like Ryan Giggs purely based on the fact that, you know, he's played all right football in his short career as a manager. But the last appointments that we've made as managers, we've gone for people with track records and people who have won the lot, apart from obviously Moyes, which was all about stability. And it's not worked at all. So maybe we should go for someone who is a bit of an unknown quantity.
That every manager we've had has been a pragmatist or defensive-minded. David Moyes was always pragmatic, reacted to opposition. Louis van Gaal the same. And some would say Louis van Gaal was finished in terms of being out of touch with the modern game as it was now. Jose Mourinho, another pragmatist. And again, some might say he's finished at the top game. I don't quite know where it lies, whether he doesn't fit with the club or whether he's finished. But I do know it's not working, and I don't think it will turn around.
No.
That's why I'm kind of thinking
like this
sooner or later he's going to be gone.
Text us 87711, by the way, and if you want to get on, we've got a good caller coming up next.
Get a caller.
Should we get a caller? Because this caller is Tex. He's talking about the past. He's talking about past managers.
Okay.
He's got an interesting point, I think. Hello, Tex.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate. So what was your initial point about LVG?
Right, I'm going to be quick, guys, because, you know, I'm watching LVG's football. It was one of the most stressful things I could imagine, you know, but there were some games, you know, where all that passing, because the thing is, we didn't lose a lot of games. We just didn't win a lot of the games. It's just like we just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net a lot of the time. And it was like passing for passing's sake. But there were some games like the Liverpool game where the passing had end product, and it was a beautiful thing to watch. And I've not seen nothing like that with under Mourinho. And 9 times out of 10, LVG's United will beat Man United. Will beat Mourinho's United.
9 times out of 10, LGV's United.
Yeah, well, they would do, because he always won the big games.
100%.
I mean, fair enough.
Would you say now that United are worse to watch now than they were under Louis van Gaal?
I think we're a better team now.
Yeah.
But I think I said something like that to you earlier.
When they were good, they were
like,
good.
When Louis van Gaal's Manchester United were good and clicked, you were like, that's what he's been trying to do. And I've never had that moment with Manchester United where under Mourinho, and I've thought, that's what he's doing. Never been one full game where I thought that. There's been half an hour against Arsenal away where we pressed them really well and we were very good. But then we were very lucky in that second half with David De Gea. I've not seen producer Christian tell me Spurs at home this season. I was like, yeah, what happened? We lost 3-0. So it's like, there's been games where we've had glimpses, but never in a 90 minutes. And I think when Louis van Gaal's Manchester United clicked, we looked a lot better. But I think Mourinho's Manchester United is a better team. I think that might be because of the team and the players and the 11 and the signings Jose's made. Because you could imagine what would a Van Gaal team do with Pogba in the midfield, for example, or because he never had those luxuries of midfielders. But then some might say he made the wrong signings.
They were sometimes watching United under Louis van Gaal, though, mate.
Van Gaal and Mourinho are very similar. They're all from the same school. They may have differences in their attitudes and character and man management and things like that, but their styles of football are very, very old school and very similar. People won't like me saying that, but these are facts.
It seems like we need something, if anything, maybe a bit different now.
We've got a comment. We've got a comment here I need to read out from Akila. I'm going to have to censor myself when I read this comment.
Please do.
He says they're literally debating what type of is shinier. What type of is shinier? Just really
right, let's go one more.
I think Jose probably wins as he had two silver to one.
Proper shinier.
Bit shinier, wasn't it?
Let's put Cam on and then we are done for this section.
Put glitter on some.
Pardon? What?
You know what I'm saying?
You can't polish a...
No.
Let's go. Cam on 9-2. Come on, this is when you lift the knobs up.
Lift you up in a minute.
Hello, Cam.
Yeah, you're right, lads. How you doing?
Yeah, well, mate. Very right. What do you want to say?
Listen, I just want to speak to Adam, right? Because basically we got.
Here we go.
My number's on phone boxes. You could have just called my phone.
Listen, we got the same opinions on most things, yeah. But I've heard a few times now. You've said, like with the Glazers, you think they're part of the issue in that. But you know what? I think we had the greatest manager ever. How many trophies was one of the Glazers? They got the Sanchez deal over the line. Once they get the players in, then it's down to the manager, and the manager's just dead. It's like this. Fancam last week against Palace with that Stephen Housen guy and some fan butted in. Like, say if I said to you, Adam, say if you're running a business, I'd say, listen, we won't go into the millions. Say, listen, I need these 3 items, 15 grand each, yeah? 10 months down the line, nah, they're no good for me, but don't worry, we can sell them for £500 each. Now I need 90,000 each. We're a business. We haven't got an oil rig. Mourinho is just killing our club. I don't care what anyone says. Pogba, world class, can't get anything out of him. Sanchez, proven in Arsenal, just gone dead. Even his own boys now, what's his Matic, he's just getting nothing out of him.
I totally agree with you, Cam. But my feelings about the Glazers are that since they came in, they have been slowly but surely sucking the life and the money out of Manchester United. Now, I think after Sir Alex Ferguson left, they showed a reactiveness to, we've lost the greatest manager of all time. We now need to pump money into this to try to make it work better. Right. But I think ultimately, from the moment they came in, when you look at 2009, we had just made it, back-to-back Champions League titles. Champions League finals. We just won the European Cup. We sold Cristiano Ronaldo for a world record fee. Who did we bring in? Valencia, Owen and Obertan. Where's that 80 million gone? I still don't know. And there's so many issues and instances like that along the way where you look at City, they were signing Sergio Aguero and this and that. Well, meanwhile, Manchester United were saying there's no value in the market. And I point finger at Sir Alex Ferguson for that as well. Like, Sir Alex Ferguson is the greatest. Without Sir Alex Ferguson, Manchester United would not be what it was. But also, he protected for the Glazers an awful lot. And I think his no value in the market was protection of those Glazers. And it just stems back to his issue with the horse, doesn't it? If that never happened, the Glazers don't come in and he doesn't have to protect them. But I will never agree with the Glazers, mate. I will never agree with them. That's why I always talk about the Glazers. But at the same time, I agree with you because Jose Mourinho is responsible for the football. He's responsible for training. He's responsible for man management. He's responsible for the fact that he has signed almost a full 11. A full 11, that's 2 centre-halves, a right back in Delo. He's signed 3 central midfielders in Matic, Fred and Pogba. He signed Alexis Sanchez, Lukaku, and we still look nowhere closer to being a team. We still don't know our favourite 11. We still are 8th in the league. We're still minus goal difference. Those are the reasons I'll get onto Mourinho for. But in terms of the club falling behind Manchester City, that's not all Mourinho's fault.
And we're still in loads of debt as well.
I could listen to you all day, Adam. I mean,
if you get me started on the Glazers,
I can listen to
rant on
all day.
All day. I'm a hypocrite. I still go to games. I still give them money. I'm a hypocrite. But I can't stop going to games. Yep. I'll always go to games regardless of who's in the director board, who's the manager, who's the players, what competition we're playing in. I'll go. But I'm still going to have my say on them, and they're the worst owners ever. And I don't wish them any goodness.
Let's go on to a little break. Get your calls in, and by doing that, you just got to text us 87711. We'll try and get as many as we can in the next 20 minutes. I've got a question for you. So, Fellaini scored his 2nd Champions League goal, obviously against Young Boys on Tuesday. Who in the current squad has the most Champions League goals for Manchester United? Your answers, please, in the comment section.
Excess. This is the Manchester Football Social. Full-Time Devils Takeover.
We're back! It's the Full-Time Devils fan phoning on XS Manchester with myself, Adam McCullough, with Joe McGrath. And of course,
Hello.
Gaz Drinkwater is in the hot seat reading your comments. But before we go to Gaz for your comments, Joel's got the answer.
Yes, I do. So, Fellaini scored 2 Champions League goals now for Manchester United. But who has
Levelled up with Maradona, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Who has scored the most for Manchester United? The most Champions League goals, and the goals have to be for United. What
in the current squad?
In the current squad.
Matter?
What are we going for?
Antonio Valencia.
Oh, he's only going to with 6 goals. Antonio Valencia is the winner.
Wow.
So well done.
That was a guess, by the way.
There.
Wow.
Smashed it.
He used to be a right winger, innit? So I thought he must have done something useful at once.
If you're trying to call, we are having problems with the numbers, so you just got to text us 87711 and we'll give you a bell back.
Well, there's been a lot of calls negative about Mourinho, and some say I've got an agenda. So right now we're going to bring Rory in, who wants Jose to stay.
Hello, mate.
Hi, lads.
Yes, Rory, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad. I'm Mourinho win. Like you said earlier with De Gea when you were watching him at Atletico Madrid. It's the same with me and Mourinho. Ever since about 2006, I've always said I wanted Mourinho win after Sir Alex. So it is good to see him here. But I think some of the fans are forgetting a few things, because what they're doing is they're comparing Mourinho to the Sir Alex Ferguson era and all that success we had. And talk about the Manchester United way, but we've got to remember only 3 managers in our whole history has ever won the First Division. There's been 120 years where we haven't won it. We've been relegated 4 times. You know, if you're going to compare Mourinho in this squad to what Manchester United has been and is, we've got to remember it wasn't just that 26 years under Sir Alex. You know,
what if we compare Mourinho to what he was a couple of years back when he won the Premier League with Chelsea? What if we compared him to the Mourinho he was when he won the Champions League with Inter? What if we compared him to his legacy that he's built?
Yeah, but we can also say, you know, what if we compare football as a whole to what it was in those times? Football's changed. It's not all about who
has Mourinho. You know, do you think?
Pardon?
Do you think Mourinho has adapted with football as it's moved? Do you think this is just a bad patch for him then, and he'll turn it around? And if so, what do you think like the plan is?
I think with Mourinho, he's a very stubborn person. He likes his ways, and you know, I know all football coaches. I'm a football coach. We're all very stubborn. We like our way to be our way. But with Mourinho, I can see him starting to adapt to Manchester United and the way Manchester United want to play. He's trying to play more forward-thinking football. It might not be what was under Sir Alex, but you know, also at the same time, he doesn't really trust our centre-backs. So he has to play with that double pivot, you know, which, you know, I know the other night people were talking about Fellaini and Matic together. I understand why he's doing it, but all in all, he's trying to play more attacking. Now, I said after the first Juventus game, I phoned up and I said I saw more positives just from Luke Shaw playing forward rather than back to the keeper. You know.
So, Roy, do you, as you say, you're a football coach, you understand it. Have you ever shown frustration on the pitch like Jose did to Rashford? Because I mean, obviously, that was a niggle for United fans on Tuesday. Have you ever done that as a football coach? Have you ever shown that frustration or turn and made what might have been seen as a snide comment about one of your players that you've coached and you've picked?
I can't say if I definitely haven't.
What did you make of it when he did that? Do you think he had he was trying to make his point?
I think especially with young players, you've got to have a balance. I think there are times to say, you know, to be frustrated, because at the end of the day, especially at somewhere like Manchester United, whoever goes on that pitch, regardless of who it was in the past, you know, or who it is now, you've got to expect a certain level, and obviously you can be frustrated if they're not giving you that. You can be frustrated with the game itself and take it out on one person. We all do that in our daily lives. You know, we can have an angry issue from work, take it home and then shout at someone, you know, there.
Rory,
but I think, yeah.
Before you go, Rory, one question.
Yeah.
Will Manchester United win one of the big ones under Jose Mourinho?
Yes.
Right, thank you very much.
I hope you're right, Rory!
Rory, Gaz was just dying to get at him. Right, let me just tell you, we've got
Sorry,
5
Gaz,
minutes.
what did I do?
What did you want to say, Gaz?
It's fine.
Sorry, Gaz.
Rory made some really good points about Jose, to be honest, but I'm not too sure about him saying that he's trying to play more attacking. Look, I kind of get what you said. We chatted to fans the other day and they were coming out saying, he's still parking the bus. That's not the problem with Jose this season. He's not parking the bus. The defence is an absolute mess. Jose has tried to change this season. He has tried to play more attacking, more fluid football. Guess what? He's not very good at it because it's not working.
Right, only got 4 minutes left, and we got a Catherine wheel over here making.
I just think I respect his opinion. I disagree with it. I just feel like he's had his standards lowered by the manager. I think Moyes was good at doing that to us, and I went with Moyes. But I've learned from my mistakes.
You've been forgiven as well.
Listen, I want Mourinho to turn this round.
Yeah, of course.
But he's not.
He's not going to.
And I think he's lowering our expectations as a result. And I think those kind of things where he looks at the bench and looks at the crowd and says, look at this guy here missing these sitters. I think that's just signs of him saying, it's not me, it's you. We got knocked out against Sevilla. He come out and said, it's not me, it's you. You know, we went through in the group stages. He came through and said, it's not you, it's me. I do this every time. And it's like, I don't want to hear about what have you done for me lately, like Eddie Murphy says.
Yes, exactly.
What have you done for me
get
lately?
Eddie Murphy quoted. Should we go to Mas? Mas? I think so.
Eddie.
Yeah, man.
How you doing, mate? You well?
Guys? I'm great, thank you. How are you guys?
Yeah, very good, thank you, Mas.
Okay, I just want to talk about basically, I think Mourinho is totally the wrong man. So I'll explain why. There's a few reasons. Firstly, he lacks an identity. I think in modern football, an identity is important. I think it's very important. He lacks an identity. I think before Mourinho, 10 years back, yes, he used to adjust to the opponents. He used to adapt to the opponents. But I think now, that's why every fan's confused. What are United trying to do? He just lacks identity. He'll change from game to game. And also another thing is, young boys, how are you playing Marwan Fellaini and Nemanja Matic against young boys? We could have no defensive midfielders against young boys and we could play them off the park. Literally.
Not only Nemanja Matic and Fellaini starting, but staying on the whole game.
The whole thing.
Yeah. I personally think he's manipulated a lot of fans. He really has lowered standards. I think if Louis van Gaal did this, it would not be accepted. If David Moyes did it, it would not be accepted. I actually think the thing is with Louis van Gaal, it didn't work out. But I think he had an identity. You could see what he was trying to do. When it actually clicked, I thought it was brilliant. When it clicked, it was brilliant. I think the second season, what happened was, I think he had that period injuries. I think injuries ruined the second season. Personally, I think the second season, if you remember, we actually started really well.
I can remember the second season doing quite well. Mas, you got your frustrations out. We've just got to take one more call. Can I make sure you message us again? We'll get you on next time nice and early.
Sorry, we have to rush through these last calls, and apologies we couldn't get through many more this time around.
It was our fault because the beginning section we had.
Joe promises he'll pay the phone bill next time.
Jonathan, you're our final caller of the show, mate. What do you want to say?
30 seconds, Jonathan. Come on.
Hi, lads. Yeah, sorry, I know I've not got long. I just wanted to say, basically, the players that we've got now, I think a lot of them are letting them off the hook. I think we've got a lot of players that compare. I don't know how old you boys are, but they seem a lot like the 80s team. I mean, we had some really good players in the 80s team, or what we felt was good players like Kevin Moran, Paul McGrath, Norman Whiteside, Jesper Olsen, etc., etc. And I think we've got what I call a lot of cult heroes in our team who we love as fans, and we think they're good players, and they are internationals, and they are decent players, but I think we're overrating them. I think they're not quite as good as what we believe, and especially the problem I think we've got with them is the mentality. I think Fergie had players that was nowhere near as good as some of these players in terms of ability, but he had the correct mentality. Darren Fletcher, John O'Shea, Ji-Sung Park, people like that was nowhere near as good as some of the players we've got in this side now, but they had the drive and the commitment and the heart that Jose has referred to last week to compete week in, week out and play the mediocre teams and beat them so that we could win league titles. I just think we've got players now that have not got that in them.
Jonathan, thank you very much. What a final caller to end the show. Over to you. Do you want to
Sorry we had to rush you, Jonathan. Sorry. We wanted more calls, but you know what? We didn't get them today. You can get more fan reaction on the channel, and XS Manchester will be back next week. For now, though, this has been Full Time Devils.